don't know how many times I'm going to be doing this. Anyways, hello everybody, and welcome back to Justagirlandherknitting. My name is Heather, and I'm coming to you from Spokane Valley, Washington. I want to just say thank you to everybody who keeps coming back every week or whenever I get videos up, and thank you for new subscribers, for the people who leave comments and likes and everything. I appreciate you guys all, and it just gives me a fun opportunity to just sit and talk about my projects and hold me accountable for trying to get them finished. You can find me on the internet, on Instagram, Ravelry. I will link it down below. I also have an Etsy shop where I crank sock tubes on my circular sock knitting machine. And I think that's all of the welcome. I have 3 finished objects, a couple finished sock tubes that have already been mailed out, but I'll insert the pictures because they turned out really good. They're really pretty. We can talk about those a little bit. And then 3 whips and a spin. So I guess let's just get right on in. 3 whips? Yeah, 3 whips. Something easy peasy. I need something to work on the other day when we were on our way to Costco. It was nighttime, so I knit up a dishcloth. This one is knit on the bias, so I cast on 3 stitches. I increase on one side, so cast on 3 stitches, increase 1, knit. When I go back the other way, increase 1. So every row I'm increasing on only one side. And then when I get to the size that I want, it's usually about 37 to 43, depends on my mood. I will then start decreasing, which is just knit 1, knit 2 together, then knit across the row, knit 2, just the same thing. Every time I'm flipping, that makes no sense whatsoever. Anyways, I can always write it down below. It's kind of like grandma's favorite, but there's no holes, and my edges are a little bit wider. Anyways, this is knit out of Knit Picks Dishie Multi in the goldfish colorway. So that's one project, and then I have my needles that I knit them on. I use a US size 7. I used circular needles because that's what I had available at the time. So that's finished object number 1. My second finished object, I got the socks done. These are the Yarnable March colorway. They're for my husband. They're a size 14. I cranked them on my circular sock knitting machine. I did, oopsies, 72 stitches. I used a Patton's Croy for the heel in the color Gentry Gray. And I just had the long tube, something like this. So I counted down however many rows. So if this was a long tube, counted down so many rows. I then picked up where I wanted and just started knitting straight up. So I think I counted down 20 rows and then started knitting the ribbing, the 2x2 ribbing. I don't know why that. I guess I finally got my Ginny Surprisingly Stretchy bind off really nice and, you know, really good for once. And then I do the same for the toe. I count back 20 rows, put my needles in, unravel, and then decrease. And then I measure and cut in the heel. But there are 2. So these are done. They're a little big, so I might be tightening my tension when I go to do the next ones, or I might just knit them on the 64 stitch cylinder. But these are done. And then next finished object, I talked about it as a whip last time. It's knit out of Yarnable Plush DK in the, I think this was like Mermazing colorway. It's a couple years old. I have these tiny little baby socks. They have a texture, so a 1x1 rib, texture pattern on the front all the way down, a heel flap, and then the toe or the foot. So they're really cute. They turned out really good. These are called the, I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I got it right. Zemgus socks, Zemgus socks, and they're by Annada Handmade. It was a test knit I did. I started on January 1st and I finished them like January 2nd. Although I realized I didn't read the pattern very well. I just jumped right in. I'm like, oh, 32 stitches, perfect. That's what's, or 36 stitches, perfect. That's what size I knit her baby socks on a size 1. It'll be perfect. Then I realized that the designer called for a size 4 needle. So then I was like, but it didn't specify what weight of yarn. So I opted for a size 3 needle and I knit it up as a DK weight. So I held this yarn double and I got the gauge that the designer was aiming for. I don't know, she must be a really tight knitter. I'm not sure, but they are super cute and they do fit the baby really, really well. I might have to put little dots of something on here because they're very slippery and I don't really want the baby wearing them and slipping and sliding. So we'll have to evaluate what to do with that. I've seen like you use puffy paint, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. But so my March Yarnable socks are done. My test knit socks were done. I knit a dishcloth in a day. Only takes me a few hours to do. And then I cranked some socks, some sock tubes. So I have this book. It's a bullet journal. And I'm trying to keep track of what I'm cranking, what I'm doing, any patterns that might interest me to try out, like if I'm watching another podcast. But I'm trying to keep track of the yarns I'm cranking for people and how many, what cylinder and how many rows I'm getting. So I cranked 2, and I'll link the yarn dyers below. So I cranked 2 tubes on my 60 stitch cylinder. I did needles at the ready and the colorway was Ganzit Glow. It was an 80-20 and it came out to 611 rows, and that was on the 60 stitch cylinder. I have an Erlbacher Gerhardt Speedster. And then I'll insert pictures too because I took pictures of them. My other yarn I did on the 60 stitch was Always Be Kind yarn. It's Fall Frolics, and I did 539 rounds. It's an 80-20. It was like a zebra. So it was dyed and had black. So like a zebra one. And then I did 10 50-gram skeins for Heather Ellis Arts. She's a yarn dyer on the other side of the state in the Seattle area. I don't know the names of the colorways because she sent them without yarn bands, but I did 10 50 grams. They were her 75-25, and they all ranged about 287 to 235 for rows on 50 grams. But that was really fun. I had been waiting on those ones since October, and I finally got them. But I enjoyed those. So I might be ordering some yarn from her. She's doing a Valentine's box, which is kind of cool. So my final finished thing currently is my spin. So this is the Ravelry from Palouse Yarn Company in the colorway Lemon. This is 4 ounces, and I just made a whole bunch of little nests, and it's just spun one after the other. And this is spun on my electric eel wheel 6.1 that my kids bought me for my birthday a couple years ago. So with that, we'll jump into whips. I have, since we talked about spinning, I have prepped my Weird Sisters wool Peachy Keen colorway. I don't know what it's an 85 Polworth, 15% silk, and it's 4 ounces. There's their tag. And this is their, I don't know if that's their, what they call it, but this is what it is. It's got yellows and peaches, whites, a little bit of this yellow. So I think applied together, that will be pretty. Tell me what you guys think. I'm gonna start spinning this hopefully tonight and see how it turns out. But I have my whole Ziploc baggie full of my little fiber nests to spin. And then my next whip, where did it go? Where's my bag? Do you guys know what I did with my dill pick bag? Oh, it fell on my floor. That's how my day's going. So, sorry about my squeaky chair. So I got the stitches picked up on this sock tube, and I started the toe decreases, and I'm using this yarn. It was a leftover from another test knit that I did for Nancy of Knit Sip Happy, and the yarn, the gray, is Western Sky Knits hand dyed in Montana, and it's a 75/25. So this is what I have. I'm starting the toe decreases. Picked up the stitches and I did 5 rounds and then started them. So I'm not very far on that. So that's one. I work on that during whenever I get a chance, if the baby's asleep in my lap. And then my next project is in this really cute little Delicue snap bag that I got for Christmas. Has a little zipper and everything that I keep my sock knitting tools and my other tools in it, I guess, because I do have like my stitch markers, my circular needles. I have my size 7s from my dishcloth because I had that in here. It has a little handle and it just snaps. But I am working on a test knit for Nancy of Knit Sip Happy, Nancy Wheeler. And we're allowed to show it. Let's see, hopefully I don't pull my stitches because that happens sometimes. So this is what I have so far. Not very far, but it's a 1x1 ribbing, a heel flap and gusset. I'm using Perfect Pair. I got this on clearance at Michael's because my mother-in-law is allergic to wool. Although she's been working with wool, she seems to be doing okay. I'm not sure if I'm ready to switch her socks to wool yet, but we'll get through all these first. But on the back, it's got this little lace motif. So it's called Collection of Columns 2, because she's already done 1. Basically, it's 6 or 8 different columns, and you pick and choose. what you want, how you want them, where you want them. I chose to do, when I was showing how, like, what I had gotten done so far, I described it as a sock mullet, vanilla on the front and a little spice on the back, a little spiciness on the back. So you can kind of, I don't know the best way to do this, so you can see. It's just a little lace detail, and I'm using my ChiaoGoo US 1 2.25 millimeter tiny circs, so my 9-inch circulars for this, now that I'm on the foot. If I knit vanilla socks, I knit with these until the heel and toe, and then I use then I do magic loop. But that, okay, that. Then my last whip is my sweater. And it was a test knit that I never finished. I'm using loops and thread in their Luxe Merino wool blend. It's a 55% superwash merino, 45% acrylic. It is, what color is it? I saw it the last time. Where is it? Oh, Blue Dawn. It's pretty accurate. And then I'm using this fluff from Cascade. It's a 61% super kid mohair, 35% silk, 4% wool. And the colorway is shade 18, but it's this really pretty deep pink. I got this in Montana at a yarn store there. It's since closed, but so let me see if I can pull out my body. So I have the body. I still haven't gotten the approval to tell the name, but hopefully soon. So here's the body. I'm knitting size 7. So that's how it's turned out. I'm at 14 inches on the body. It's supposed to be 13.25 inches. I went for 14. I'm still debating on whether or not I'm going to add more, because I know I think once I block it, it's gonna grow a little bit. I guess if I would have gauge swatched, I would have known that, but I technically gauge swatched on the sweater. Usually pretty close to the designer's gauge, but not on this one. I had to go up to a US size 10 from a 7. But I've started the sleeve. So here's one sleeve. The sweater's knit bottom up, and so is the sleeve. So you do this ribbing, and then you increase on the underarm. So here I am just chugging along. This was only about 2 days of knitting. Took me I only get about 30 minutes at night before the baby goes to bath time after dinner. So I managed to get this far. It's going to be a really cozy, soft sweater. The yarn combos is really nice together. It's just this Cascade yarn, the fluff, tangles so bad, and I can't get it untangled. So there's like this blob right here that I just could not, and I didn't want to cut it. So I'm just like, oh, I'll just knit around it. Hopefully I'll be able to stuff it down in it later. But I don't know what that is. I don't think I dropped it. Oh, it just looks like an extra loop. Anyways, so I'm knitting this on a US size 10, and these are on my ChiaoGoo tiny twist shorties in the large. So this one goes from US 9 to 11. And it has the swivel cables on it. So I got these a few years ago. My mother-in-law got them for me for Christmas. But I prefer knitting my sleeves on circular needles. I don't like to do double point. I'm not the biggest fan of magic loop if I can avoid it. So I prefer my tiny circs. I have the red, the blue, and the yellow. So these come in, I don't think I have the blue in here, but there's red, blue, and yellow. And this is the big size, medium, and small. The red is for sock knitting, or 0 to 3. So the red set is 0 to 3, the blue is 4 to 8, and the yellow is 9 to 11. But I really like them. I'm a huge fan of Chiago needles. So, yeah. So let's see. Well, my plans are to spin. Well, that's on my whips, I should say. So I guess for this week, my plan is to try to get the test knit sock done and spin up, start spinning on this other fiber, and then I will need to keep working on this test knit. I really want to get it done, this test knit sweater, so it can be off my needles. And then once that one's off, then I will select another big project. I don't know what it should be. Let's finish this first before we start thinking about it. And then I have my sock tubes done. I have another order coming for cranking, which I'll take pictures of and I can show you guys when it's all done. Let's see, anything else? No, I think that's it. I think that's all that we have. Been watching podcasts at night when I spin. And then I think that's it. I was gonna go to the Green Bluff spin-in. That's on Saturday, but we're prepping for the baby's birthday. She turns 1 on Tuesday, and we're having her birthday party on Sunday. So I have a lot to do. I have cupcakes to bake and a cake to bake and just so much stuff to do. Presents to wrap, and so we're gonna be doing that this weekend. So I don't get to go to that, which is fine. And then I don't know what else. I don't know. So I guess. Hi everybody, it's me again. I forgot to mention the giveaway from last podcast, where I'm giving away one or both, probably one of these sock yarns. You'll have to go back to the video before to see what the prompt was, but I'll explain it. It's, have you ever knit an afterthought sock or used a sock tube to make socks? I completely forgot that, but these are both locally dyed here in Spokane, Washington. And what I'm doing is I will draw a winner on next week's podcast from the comments from that video before, this one. And you have the option to choose what yarn you want, and you can either have it sent to you like this, or I can crank a sock tube for you. You tell me what size and if you want hung hems or not, and then I can send it to you that way. I just thought I'd give you guys the option, but also thank you for the support. And I wanted to give you guys a little present for supporting me in this endeavor that I'm doing. So don't forget to go back to the other video. I'll try to link it. I don't know how to do that, but I'll try. And comment and let me know. I mean, you can comment on this video too if you want. Have you ever knit a sock from a sock tube? And if you have, did you enjoy it? How do you feel about it? But anyways, just let me know. All right, thank you guys. Bye. I'll leave you guys with that. I hope you guys have a great week. I will see you next week. on hopefully Wednesday, because today's Wednesday. Been aiming for Wednesdays. But I'll see you guys next week, hopefully. And I hope you guys all have a great day and have fun with whatever craft that you happen to find to keep you entertained and happy. All right, guys, bye.